Kentucky Derby.
You're watching Past the Wire TV, the biggest races at the best tracks. From the Kentucky Derby to the Breeders' Cup. The best horse racing coverage is right here on Past the Wire TV.
Ciao tutti, tutto a posto, everybody.
What's going on, everybody? Tutto a posto.
I think that's the perfect intro for the 30-second Travers show. I don't think we could have got a better intro than that. What do you guys think?
Totally agree.
Agree with you, my man.
All right. Couple of things. We're going to get into the Travers. This is the Travers show. The heavy favorite we all know is Sovereignty, Godolphin. But before we talk about that, because Saratoga kind of has not been all that much this year, we're not here to bash it. It's the Travers, exciting weekend. But there was a horse today, happens to be a Godolphin horse. Okay? Yeah, we got the whole crew. We got Big Race Jim. We got me. We got Gio Big Guns. We got Charles Pay to Rent Trent and Nice Guy Eddie C. We got everybody on the show. Well, just about. So between 5 of us and 5 horses in the Travers, hopefully somebody can land on the winner. You never know, though. If we don't, what an epic show that's going to be. We could put this in the Racing Hall of Fame. It'll be shown for years and years in like the Saratoga Museum. Look at these guys on Past the Wire TV. 5 horses. Nobody came up with the winner, who's going to probably be 1-9. Anyway, before
it's not just a winner. We have a T-bone exacta opportunity too.
Maybe. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Now,
already started.
I'm going to make a big, bold statement that may age very poorly. It won't be the first time. I have no shame in my game, so I'm willing to do it. Let's take a look who what I'm going to say right now is most likely, almost in my mind, definitely the Breeders' Cup Turf winner. Big Race Jim. Can we get a little glimpse?
Horses away, please. Horses away. And the total events on the Judgment International and the SPs. First to 3 onwards and the 7 to 4 favorite, second to 6, third 1 and 9 to 4. Total events away on number 3, race 2 and 7 to 5. Race number 3, 1 to 5. And then the 6, 170.
Hello. Sorry, mate. Sorry. I'm watching. Just sort of willing to do here. I'm like, I'm just talking to him. He said he won a bench. He said he won a bench for me.
Well.
Now, happens to be a Godolphin, not Charlie Appleby, John Gosden, but if you notice, the one thing that I noticed, obviously his kick in the stretch was awesome, okay? But that horse just won the Judmont International. And if you watched him come into the enclosure, he didn't take a deep breath, man. He looked like they could have walked him right back out and ran another Judmont International. That is a real racehorse, lightly raced, developing, getting really good at the right time. And off the top of my head, I can't think of an American turf horse. He humbled the Japanese horse. He humbled the Aga Khan's horse from France. He humbled Aidan O'Brien's horse, Delacroix, who everybody's talking about. I can't think of an American horse that could give that horse a tussle.
Anybody in the audience that didn't see the race, I was amazed by it too. And Johnny sent me with interest in the morning about the race from York. I posted the stretch on Twitter, just took it from my computer. Wait to see what he did. He was 25 lengths behind the leader, and he passed him effortlessly, sick. And I always say, when you say Godolphin, you got to say Godolphin blue. But you're right, a tiger, a monster.
Now, moving on, will the canoe be painted Godolphin blue? I don't know. I don't know. All right. This was Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday at York, they're running races like that. Breeders' Cup winning. Saratoga today, Wednesday, they ran a card they could have run at Aqueduct in February on Wednesday, trudging in the snow to get into the gates. But be that here or there, whatever. Travers, Big Race Jim, lived in Saratoga. What's your favorite Travers ever?
Oh man, my favorite Travers ever would probably be VE Day, maybe.
Wow.
Just because I have like a really cool picture of was it Javier Castellano on VE Day, and I had a photo of Rajiv Mirage looking over his shoulder on, was it like Wicked Strong, I think.
Oh yeah,
as he's getting past right in front of the wire. I don't think I bet on VE Day that day, but that was pretty cool. Probably the Travers memory, I don't know if it's a good one or not, but I remember trying to chase American Pharaoh all around, trying to see him in person at some point during 2015, and we were on our honeymoon for the Belmont, so missed him there. Was going to go to the Haskell, but a friend of mine got sick and didn't want to go, and then figured I'd see him at Saratoga in the Travers, and then my other friend decided to get married that day, so I was in New Jersey at a wedding, and my wife was at the track covering the news live that morning, right next to American Pharaoh, while I was a couple hundred miles away and missed him.
Really? One of my favorites, 1984. Gio will probably remember this. Eddie C, maybe. I don't know, Charles, you've been around a while, but I don't know if you remember things like this. We've never talked horses like this, but 1984, Virginia Craft Pacing, Card de Nascra.
Card de Nascra.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say 1040, maybe 1020. And a lot of it was my money. And those ones always stick out to you, man. Card de Nascra. And the reason it stuck out, because I was with a friend of mine that was telling me all day long how he couldn't win. Don't you hate when somebody does that? Not going to win, not going to win, not going to win. Leave me alone. I'm betting on him. Not going to win, not going to win. Leave me alone. I'm betting on him. Not going to win, not going to win. He won. Eddie C. Eddie C, what's your worst Travers?
Worst Travers.
Eddie C, what happened?
I mean, my worst Travers is one of my favorite Travers. And the worst Travers, Jim alluded to it, it would be American Pharaoh. I've never seen more hype for a race, 20,000 people showing up in the morning to have him paraded around the track. John, you and I have talked about this. Bob didn't want to parade him around the track. It probably took a little bit out of him. And, you know, he ends up losing. And I've never seen a crowd of people genuinely cry when a horse lost, like when American Pharaoh. So many people had bought $2 win tickets as like for memorabilia, and they were crying when Keen Ice flew by him, you know, at the wire or before the wire, and won easy actually. But I'd say my favorite Travers, I kind of, God, it's so hard.
I didn't ask you your favorite. I asked you your worst. You talk like that when the 30-second show starts. You're in big trouble.
No, I'm going to leave that all up to I'm going to leave that up to Gio.
Gio, listen, there's a line on Gio. There's a line on Gio. How many times he gets booted off?
There will be no booting. I will be direct.
5 horses in the race. The over and under on Gio is 2.
My
I
favorite
can't help it
Travers.
if I'm interesting. I got a lot to say, but I know how to do bullet points.
All right.
My favorite Travers was Arrogate, 11-1. I was at 10 Palms at Gulfstream. I wasn't there in person. Me and my buddy, we both loved them. We went up to the window, had a nice little ticket on him, and obviously I think he still has a track record for that race, doesn't he?
Fastest Travers ever. Fastest Travers ever.
Yeah. So that's it. So there's my answer. I'm done. Cut me off.
Pay the rent. Charles Trent. Favorite Travers.
For me, he just finished saying it, Arrogate. I mean, I had big money on that horse that day. I cashed, and that's what makes you remember it probably a little bit better than others. So that's my favorite, Arrogate. I think that was an awesome race, and of course, I cashed out big that day.
All right, Gio Big Guns, change it up. Your worst Travers.
Yeah, I'm going to bring up three of them.
Here we go.
The worst Travers. Wow, it could have been. And I was just looking at my phone to see if I could get some dates. It's when Catholic Boy, a horse coming from the turf. If I had to look back, it must have been about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, I was there that day.
Yeah. When he won that race, it took me out of an incredible score across the board, meaning win, double, pick 3, pick 4, pick 5. I had everything lined up, and Catholic Boy beat me that day.
I remember that.
So I wasn't prepared to talk about my worst, but I'll tell you a few of my best.
I didn't ask you that. What's going on?
People want to hear what my best two were.
Okay, well, after the show, you can tell them when they ask. We're going to have Q&A, questions. We got to move along. The 30-second Travers show, not the 30-minute Travers show. Now, for those of you that don't know why we called it that, we're going to do things a little different. We're going to have some fun. Hopefully. We're going to talk about every horse in the race, everybody on the panel, and we got a pretty good panel here. We got some savvy horse players. Everybody on the panel is going to weigh in on every horse. But the reason we call it 30 seconds, they got 30 seconds. If they don't finish in 30 seconds, they get Chuck Barris gong show, kicked off the stage until the next horse is up. So you got 30 seconds to say what you want to say about every horse. And we're all going to do it. Hopefully nobody gets kicked off. Somebody probably is. May wind up being me. There's one horse I got a lot to say about. But we'll see what happens. Let's get started right out of the box. Number 1, from the rail, Magnitude. Gio, you're up.
All right. Well, listen. I like that Ben Curtis is up for the 3rd time. His last at Prairie Meadows legitimized him. So I accept that after his risen star. This is a huge climbing class. I am not sold on the distance. A nice racehorse, but he just doesn't compare class-wise with Sovereignty, and I'm going to fade him because I have reservations about the distance.
Okay, he made it. Pay the rent with Charles Trent, Magnitude. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to have to agree with Gio there a little bit. When Ben Curtis rides for Steve, I mean, they're clicking at 30%, which is very good. I have to question the distance a little bit. He is going to be tough. I think he's going to be right there. But once again, who could beat Sovereignty is the first question I'm going to have to ask. I don't know about this horse, but he will be right there.
Nice guy, Eddie C.
Yeah, I kind of disagree about the distance thing. I think Magnitude is bred to run forever out of not this time, who's out of Giants Causeway, out of a Bernardini mare. His last 2 races jump off the page at whatever figures you're looking at. The only thing about the horses, I don't think he's going to get an easy lead. I think Bracket Buster's going to run with him, and I think it's going to soften him up a little bit. So, yeah, I'm not using him on top.
Okay. You got close. You came the closest. Big Race Jim.
Yeah, the last 2 races jump off the page. I think that last one is kind of a confirmation of the risen star. I'm concerned about the competition that he's faced. I don't really like any of the horses that he's beat ever, but the figures do look nice. I think he'll be on the lead, but from what we've seen, at least in these last two races, when he's out in front, it just seems like he's on the gas. And while the breeding suits the distance, I don't know. I just think he might be under a little bit more pressure this time around and might start to wilt around the quarter pole or the eighth pole.
Okay. Jim, you'll have to clock me for my 30 seconds because I can multitask, but I don't know that I could do that. Okay. Magnitude, speed from the rail. I do think he makes the lead. I do think he sets the pace, but I don't think he has it that easy. I think that Bracket Buster goes after him, and I think that Sovereignty moves early and goes after him, similar to what he did in the Jim Dandy. I am not sold on him. I agree that the company he has kept and beat is a little bit suspect. I think he will get inhaled in the stretch.
Couple seconds to spare.
Okay. Number 2, Bracket Buster. Pay the rent with Charles Trent.
Bracket buster. Well, let's put it this way. If this horse wins, he's going to be a bracket buster on my pick 4, pick 5, and pick 3s. I see the only way this horse has a chance, he's going to have to get the lead by himself. I don't think that's going to happen, but he will be up there pressuring them. And who else could do it would be Luis Saez, and they're at a 21% click with that trainer, Victoria, excuse me. So that's how I see it.
Eddie C, Bracket Buster.
Yeah, I mean, Bracket Buster, in my opinion, the only chance is to go to the front. He's going to challenge Magnitude. Luis Saez jumping on board. You know he's going to be aggressive. Interesting that Johnny V doesn't stay on him. Johnny V jumps over to McAfee, but I think he's just going to be a pace presence, and more than likely he's going to come last.
You just made it again, Eddie C. Geo Big Guns.
All right, Bracket Buster. I was there live at the Haskell. I thought the horse was a good-looking colt. However, and by the way, Saez is up for Vicky Oliver, the often underappreciated Vicky Oliver. 4th rider change in as many races to Saez. Clearly and definedly inferior to those in this race. Would have to run an explosive number 1 race of his career just to hit the board. He's the most likely 4th or 5th place finisher.
Okay, another one just made it. Big Race Jim.
Yeah, I think this horse is actually sitting on a pretty decent effort. I don't think it'll be good enough to win, but I do think he's going to move forward off of that Haskell performance. I thought that his Pegasus was very interesting, and then I was a little disappointed in how he performed in the Haskell. But I do think he's going to sit right off of Magnitude, be in a good position. I do think he moves forward. I would probably play him in some sort of exacta or trifecta.
Okay. I'm up. Jim, you can clock me. Bracket Buster. He wins, I lose. I think he's outclassed. I do think he's part of the pace. I think he chases Magnitude or goes with Magnitude or helps soften up Magnitude. And I got him as a pace player for maybe the first half of a mile, 3/4 of a mile. But when the real running starts, Bracket Buster will not be in there. Done. Okay. Moving right along. Strategic Focus. I'll lead off. Want to clock me, Jim?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Strategic Focus. Got the acid test last time, thrown to the big boys in the curling, made a winning move, couldn't close the deal. Puts blinkers on, improving 3-year-old. 3-year-olds improve in leaps and bounds this time of year, especially when guys like Chad Brown are calling the shots. I think he sits a perfect trip. I think Sovereignty moves early. I think he moves behind him, and the 1.25 nails him for the upset in the Travers. The canoe is red and white. I'm betting big on that horse. I love him.
Woo.
That's it for that. Okay. Big Guns Geo.
All right.
Strategic focus.
I also like a lot about this horse. Proud up for Chad. The blinkers on. Son of Gunrunner. A very imposing looking son of Gunrunner. I do believe he's improving. I have no reservations with the distance. Being a son of Gunrunner out of a curling mare. But most likely in this race, because Sovereignty is who he is and has mounds of class, and he is forward in his races, and he gets a mile and a quarter, I just feel Sovereignty is just going to prove to be too classy and outfinish him. He's underneath in what will be a steady, robust exacta. He has a bright future. Look forward to him.
He didn't make it. He almost made it.
There it is.
He didn't. You almost made it. You almost made it. Yeah, when you went for that little extra, you went down. Okay. Eddie C.
Yeah, strategic focus for me is the upset potential. You got Chad, you got Pratt, you got Clearvit Stables. The horse, the last two races, has had a troubled start, hit the gate, blinkers on. I'm not sure if that's good or not, but this is a horse that could really improve. And if he does, he's going to give Sovereignty all he's got. I'm going to put him second because I don't think they can beat Sovereignty.
Big Race Jim.
Yeah, usually I don't like the equipment change going into a stakes race, especially a grade one where, obviously very lightly raced, toughest test yet. But seeing that he hasn't gotten out of the gate super clean in the last two, it kind of makes sense. I think this horse will be in a good position to make a solid run. I think if he had a couple more races under his belt, I'd like him a little bit more, but definitely an exacta contender for me.
Pay the rent with Charles Trent.
Well, talking about the blinkers, it actually makes me a little bit more excited that the blinkers are going on. Certain trainers could pull this off when it goes to big races. They know, they've trained them under it. They know what it's going to take. And to me, I came down to two horses at the wire, and I'm going to call for a photo finish, but I'm going to say Strategic Focus will come in second.
Okay. That's a wrap on Strategic Focus. Now, the big horse, Godolphin Blue. I think it's only right Gio leads off with him. He picked him to win the Kentucky Derby, I think in like February. Gio, you're up.
Thank you so much, John. Listen, the obvious clear leader of the 3-year-old division. I've been on this guy since that big run at Churchill Downs as a juvenile. Handy, dominant, double the strides of his competitors in the stretch. Unless there's an accident, he gets up, and he may even get up rather easily to the cheers of everybody at Saratoga. Lock.
Ooh.
Made it. Okay. Big Race Jim.
I'll just take the approach a little differently here. If you're trying to find something to, knock this horse, I felt like he had to work a little harder than maybe you would have expected in the stretch in the Jim Dandy, and his figure came back a little light off the Belmont. So I don't know. Perhaps the Triple Crown is wearing on him, and I know we know he likes the mile and a quarter. I'm grasping at straws. Most likeliest winner, but figure was a little light coming out of the Belmont in the Jim Dandy. So if you're looking for a reason to go against them, maybe that's it.
Nice guy, Eddie C.
John, I think I told you at the Fountain of Youth that this is a Derby winner. I fell in love with a different horse for the Derby, but this horse has done everything right. He's been managed properly. He doesn't have to come from the clouds. He can rate. He can do everything. And Junior's ridden him perfectly. I just don't see anybody beating him. I think he's going to just sit a perfect trip and win.
Just made it on the buzzer. That's everybody but me, right?
No, and me.
Did you go? No, you didn't go?
I haven't talked about sovereignty. You go
Okay.
ahead and go. Well, what doesn't matter?
No,
I'm
go.
up. Okay. Sovereignty. I already said it's going to be a photo finish, and this is who it's going to be with. Sovereignty. He will get his nose up in time, but I think down the stretch, that other horse that I just finished saying will finish second. It's going to be a photo finish, but Sovereignty will prevail.
Okay. I'm up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 on the clock. Sovereignty gets beaten at Travers. That's why they run the race. Graveyard of favorites. He's coming off a monster race. I said before the Jim Dandy, he looked like he was going to peek through the sky on Thoroughgraph, and he did. 2 and change negative. He can regress and win off that, but I don't like the better horse regressing. I like the better horse going forward. I think he is going to pay the price for those hard races. I don't care how easy the Jim Dandy looked. He ran fast. I think he gets upset by Chad's horse on Saturday.
Okay.
Moving right along. Last one. McAfee. Eddie C. McAfee.
I'd like McAfee more if Rosario was riding him instead of Johnny V. I think it's a connection situation there. This horse is nowhere near in the class of Sovereignty. He may pick up the pieces and maybe get second, but I see him kind of running around the track and staying for second, if not falling off.
Okay. Gio, big guns.
All right, McAfee. Again, a horse I see as a grade 3 type of colt. Dutro's been ice cold. Even though I appreciate him and respect him as a trainer. Why is he entered in this race? I don't know. I guess he's got a number of stakes races under his belt. But a complete outsider, an accident would have to happen for him to emerge victorious. He's likely to be 4th or 5th in this field.
All right, I'll go on McAfee next up. You know, McAfee, I think most of you are selling him a little short. I don't think he can win this race by any stretch of the imagination. But if you go back and watch his race at 2 at Churchill Downs as a 2-year-old, he was dead game fighting and coming up the rail. I think he's the kind of horse that can definitely jump up and run 3rd, maybe 2nd, but you know, 3rd, 4th, not last. Pick up a check. And I think he'll be finishing down the lane. Win? No. Big race, Jim.
Yeah, I liked him in the Peter Pan a couple races back. He just hasn't moved forward off of that. I was really disappointed in his West Virginia Derby. I thought that race was one that he should have won. On paper, I thought he was the best horse in that race, and he didn't do it. So not a fan. Just hasn't progressed in the last couple.
All right. Pay the rent. Charles Trent.
Well, I do have a lot of respect for Dutro. I do. I just think this horse is a notch below some of these horses right now. I mean, maybe in the future, maybe they might get up there, but it's going to have to improve to do any kind of serious damage. But I think he's got enough talent to pick up a piece of that pie, most likely 3rd at best.
30 seconds, Travers show. Was that everybody, every horse? Did we miss anybody? Any horses? No, I don't think so.
I think we all have to add one closing thought each as a bonus.
No. There's no closing thought.
Can I say one thing about Sovereignty, bud?
No, you see,
Gio's always got to have his.
You guys shut off on Sovereignty.
I know, but John, it'll be interesting for our viewers.
The race is closed.
I know. One final thought.
Closed. The race.
Somebody comment in. They want to hear what I have to say.
The race went off.
You're going to get sold off again.
What do they say? No more bets. No more bets. Then it's no longer the 30. Then we got to call it the 30 plus Gio's final thought show. No.
I could have made my point already. You're going to find it interesting. All you guys will as well.
I can assure you I'm not going to.
It'll be 15 seconds, John.
This isn't a deep dive Geo show.
All
All right, folks. I
15
gotta say, I'm
seconds
sorry.
on the clock, and you're going to get kicked off.
Yeah. Listen, the board will tell. If Sovereignty's 1-9, it's an exhibition around the track for his greatness. If he's 1-5, he still wins. If he's 2-5 or 3-2, then
There you go. He didn't make. He didn't make the 15 seconds. What do you want me to tell you? He didn't make it.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
The canoe will be red, white, not blue.
Hey, John, can I ask you a question?
Yes. We're going to open it up for questions now. There's a lot of comments there. Hold on. Okay.
But I ask you my question.
Now, if anybody wants to know anything about Gio's opinions or Gio's deep thoughts, put them in the questions, and Gio will be more than happy to answer them. And so will any of us if you have any questions for us. But great job, guys. It was a pleasure. Before we get to that, let me just say one thing. Thank you, shout-outs. Spendthrift Farm, Pleasant Acres Stallions, Shorebed Coffee, Amwager. Who am I forgetting?
Well, I'd say something, but it's not 100% yet.
I'm talking about here and now. They all make these shows happen for us. So thank all of them. We appreciate that. So
can I ask my question now?
Ask your question. What's your question?
Jesus,
you forgot.
I forget what my question was because you kept on rambling yourself.
Okay. And if you think of it later, you could ask it. All right.
I will add one interesting thing that everybody's kind of crushing Naira this week for fielding a 5-horse Travers, and there's a million different arguments for why it's happening. But if you recall, whatever year Bernardini won the Travers, was that 04? 6 horses, and he was a massive favorite. So it's not like this is completely unheard of. In the last 10, 12, 15 years, the fields have been, full, 11, 12. I mean, more recently, there's been 7 or 8, but it's not totally uncommon for a short field with an overwhelming favorite in the Travers.
Okay, I'm going to run through these comments now. Hot Rod Horse Player, thank you. Diane, good evening. Vale Place, hello. Pat, we love you, Pat. Hope all is well. Walter Panoski, who's going to beat Sovereignty? Well, I don't know, Walter. I think that Chad's horse is going to beat him, but he's going to be 1-9, 1-5, but that's why they run the race. It is the graveyard of favorites. Runaway Groom, one of my favorite Travers as well, beat Conquistador Cielo, beat the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont winner all in one shot. And a little known, I wrote an article about it and interviewed his trainer. The trainer of that horse had to sleep in his car the night before the Travers, couldn't get a hotel room, slept in his car the night before.
I remember that.
That's absolutely true. John DeMario, I think the guy's name was. Classic guy. I interviewed him a couple of years ago up in Saratoga. And he was still sharp as a tack. He passed away shortly after I interviewed him. That was kind of sad. Jeffrey Fell wrote him. Jeffrey Fell, interesting footnote on Jeffrey Fell. Walked away from the game after being involved in that spill. He didn't get hurt. Ron Turcott did, but can't find him. Nobody knows where he is. Hall of Fame, Canadian Hall of Fame rider. Top rider, walked away from the game in his prime, and nobody knows where he is, which I find kind of weird. My favorite Travers, Rhythm, beating Shotgun Scott. Yes, I remember that one. Craig Perrette, if memory serves correct, which I saw him the other day. It still looks pretty sharp, Craig Perrette. Worst Travers nightmare. I said, please don't mention the Mambo in Seattle. Nobody got hurt worse than me on Mambo in Seattle. That's when I had my criminal case going, losing my condo, losing everything. Everything was riding on Mambo in Seattle. And I thought he won. Alvarado fist pumped, crossing the wire. John,
I want to bring up a great Travers moment because I can only give the one I hated. Can I give a great one?
Michael is a very sharp player. Very sharp player. I will just say that. Wait, let's go through these comments first. Then you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
Will
Because
they
the old
rate?
timers will like the story I'm going to tell.
I don't think they're going to rate him. I think they're gonna go after the other horse and keep the pace honest. I think Magnitude's on the lead. That one's chasing him, and I think mark it down. I'm telling you, I believe in my heart, Sovereignty is going to move early, just like he did. Now he may move early, swoop by them, open up 10 lengths, and the race is over. I'm that good. See you later under wraps with Junior Alvarado. That could happen, but off that -2 number, I think he's going to bounce a little bit, moves a little early. I hope Magnitude has some fight to kind of not let him just swoop right by him and go with him a little bit, and then they'll just set it up for Chad's horse coming late with Pratt.
But, John, you know Chad's horse has to improve quite a bit to compete, and you're basing it on Sovereignty bouncing, and Sovereignty has looked like a monster since the Fountain of Youth.
That's correct, and I am basing it on Chad's horse going forward and Sovereignty bouncing. That's
when he's full throttle. His strides are almost double the strides of every other 3-year-old in a stretch, rather with the exception of journalism. And he's better than journalism.
I may lose, okay? I may lose. I get it.
I mean, for value, that's the only way to play the
That's
race.
talking about value. It's not the only way to play.
If I get 5 and change for the exacta, I'm going to be delighted.
Whatever. There's all those things. Value means different things to different people. But what I was going to say is I may lose. I get it. All right. But over the years, I have, everybody and all of you four are kind of falling into that. Big Race Jim might be an exception here because he's not kind of jumping on that bandwagon. But everybody that bets the horses, 99% of the people always think they're going to do what they do every time, like they're machines. And they're not machines.
Well, John, I can tell you that his strategic focuses work right after his last race in the Curlin. That was impressive, and I've watched it probably 4 or 5 times. And
there's a lot of reasons the horse can win. A lot of reasons the horse could win. The 1.25 miles.
I think he's going to get the first jump. To be honest,
I don't think he gets the first jump. I think he's going to get the last jump. But
I think he gets the first jump.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting. I think he's going
to say he's going to be a star. But with the body of work with a maiden special, an optional claimer for 50 in a non-graded stakes race to come in here and knock off Sovereignty, who may be regarded as one of the greatest of all time at the end of this year. That's a big task at hand. That's why he may be 1-9. And you need
he will be 1-9. I get all that. He's still got to win the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I get you.
He's still got to win the race. And I'm a big believer in regressions and bouncing and I don't look at a horse like that and look for a reason that he's going to do what he did last time. I look at a horse like that and I look, okay, what can I see that maybe everybody's not going to be looking at? That may mean he's not going to do the same thing he did last time. In horse racing, everybody zigs. I want to zig. All right, that's how I approach this game. You zig, I zig. That's it. When the masses all go, I love betting against 1-9 shots. I really love betting against 1-9 shots at Saratoga. I love betting against 1-9 shots in races like the Travers.
And that's why
how many times I got to be right? How many times I got to be right? 1 out of 10? 9 out of 10?
So there's 2 Travers I want to mention. We have any questions for the panel from everybody? Even if they want to ask about my bow tie pasta with spinach and ricotta.
But that's why I think the strategic focus.
Okay, here's the question. P6K, if journalism was in the Travers, would you have Chad's horse to beat him? That's a very difficult question for me to answer, Mark, because what I do is I handicap every race based on the race. I don't have any preconceived ideas. So I didn't do the race that way. So I really can't honestly intelligently answer that question because I don't know. I may come up with him. I may not. I may feel about him the same way I feel about Sovereignty, that he's ripe for the young improving horse right now. So I wish I could answer that question, but I can't. Neither Ortiz brother has a mountain to Travers. How often do we see that? Not too often. Thank you, Steve. Great show. Failed place. Thank you. Deep Thoughts by Giosetti. Do you want Deep Thoughts by Giosetti? Or are you just saying we got Deep Thoughts by Giosetti? We always get Deep Thoughts by Giosetti. Any standouts to mention on the undercard? I think there's a horse that we all talked about a little bit. Mayday Ready. Is that her name, Gio?
Mayday Ready. Yeah.
Gio likes. I like. Eddie C like. We all kind of like Mayday Ready. I don't know if Charles and Jim have done that race yet. Will Sovereignty win the Breeders' Cup Classic? No. Probably not. Why can
I'll give you one in the forego. I'll have a nice win bet on Crazy Mason.
I like this guy.
This horse is just going to come out of the clouds.
Who?
Crazy Mason in the forego.
There you go.
I think
I like one in the ballerina.
Be a handful in the PA Derby. I know.
I like the one in the ballerina. Baffert's horse. Was it Road Hope or Hope Road in the ballerina? I'm going to be putting a hefty bet on that one.
Chad has not won at Travers, neither has Mott, and Chad had not won a Whitney until earlier this meet either. So imagine he gets to Whitney. And the same.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that I'm all in on Mulligan in the forego.
Okay.
I think Bookham Dano keeps proving me wrong race after race after race. He keeps winning. He's winning everywhere. But I think Mulligan is going to win, and I think Most Wanted may crash the party as well.
All right. I'm going to say this now for the benefit of the people that have tuned in live and support us, because I love you guys. I've been saying something all year long, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. I went out on a limb in the Breeders' Cup Turf. Now I'm going to go out on a limb in the Breeders' Cup Classic. And right, wrong, or indifferent, after the race, you can say, you know what? I heard P6K say that way back when. What have I been saying all year about journalism and sovereignty? Just one time, I want to see journalism make sovereignty the target, not sovereignty make journalism the target, because I truly believe in my heart that journalism is a much better racehorse when he has a target. Okay. And I know I'm going to get these comments saying, oh, you've been saying that all year long. The other horse is better. That's all right. We all got our opinions. That's fine. Opinions are like, we know what, and most of them stink. So we get that. Everybody knows that. So that's my opinion. Now, I will say this. In the Breeders' Cup Classic, I believe that I will get to see whether or not I am correct. That's all I'm going to say. After the race, you may go, That's all I'm going to say.
A comment
what about
to that.
Hope Road in the ballerina, John?
Interesting.
Sierra Leone can't beat sovereignty. Listen, I'm going to kick you off the show, Roshan. You should know better than that. You're too, Roshan, we know each other. You're too smart to make that comment. All right, I got to.
The board's going to indicate
this guy, Roshan, is a great guy. I thought he knew horses. I got to have my doubts now, Roshan. I got to have my doubts about you.
Remember, what's really special about sovereignty, he's handy, he's quick, his strides, he's just a monster. He's a physical specimen. You got to take that in and absorb it and just relish in it, enjoy it.
I do, but I bet against him.
You know when's the time to bet against him? Was that when the short stretch at Gulfstream, when we knew Tappan Street was sitting on a big race. That was the day.
Actually, he won the short stretch race. It was the one before that. It was the one before, yeah.
The one with Tappan Street beat him, right?
No,
yeah, Tappan Street. No.
Tappan Street beat him in the Florida Derby. He won before that. No, Rispoli's going to be on him, Vale Place.
Yeah,
sorry.
Right.
Sorry to disappoint you. Sorry, but Umberto is going to be on him.
That's right.
There's a lot
Why wouldn't he?
There's a lot of stuff behind the snes going on. Don't worry.
And Umberto, I mean, he's done everything, I think, all right on that horse. So there's
I don't
no
know what
reason.
they are.
I want to share an endearing Travis story that has an A and B to it because I think people will connect with it. I'll be quick.
No, nobody asked. Nobody asked. You said we're gonna wait for the questions. Nobody asked.
Oh, okay. Let's do the questions. Then I'll have a final thought. Okay.
All right. I love Nisos for the Breeders' Cup Classic. You ready for this? Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. I like Nisos for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Maybe the Breeders' Cup Mile. Maybe the Breeders' Cup Classic. But I think we may get a surprise Bob Baffert move, and Nisos shows up. Everybody's got him in the Classic, shows up in the Sprint or in the Mile. How's that for a curveball?
I think Midland Money wins the Allen Jerkins and is a better horse than Nisos. How about that?
Who?
Midland Money.
Okay.
And the Allen Jerkins.
Yeah.
In the Allen Jerkins?
He's really training crazy right now, mind frame. I love him already. I haven't handicapped the race in the PA Derby, but as an older horse, he's going to be a threat. And one thing about the Breeders' Cup Classic that we're all going to love, we're going to relish in what's going to be an extremely detailed, focused handicap because there's going to be a lot of things to pull apart in that race.
Wayne, you're talking about what thoroughgraph number do I think he's going to run?
Or maybe the odds.
Well, odds, I'm hoping for 4 or 5 to 1.
I think we're going to get 3.
Probably.
On who?
On Strategic Focus. But 3 to 1 is more like 4 or 5 to 1 in the pick 5 or the pick 6. If I could beat something. And I'm hoping that a lot of people love this magnitude. Okay. I'm hoping that he's got a lot of hype. People love him. People are talking about him. Oh, he can win. Wire to wire, wire to wire. Well, he wins, I lose, but I'm hoping he gets a lot of money and that helps. If you're talking about thoroughgraph numbers, I think that Strategic Focus will probably run a 0, maybe a 1 negative. And if Sovereignty comes back off that, 2 negative, I think we're right in there. Right in there. Right there. Right there. And the 1.25 miles and the blinkers, I think, are going to be the key. And I think the other thing that's really going to help him is that Junior got very tactical with Sovereignty last time out and thinks, oh, well, I could sit close to the pace and go after these horses early. And I think that will be his undoing on Saturday. Yeah, I think I got you, Wayne. I think he runs a 0 or 1 negative, and I think that's going to be good enough to win the race. And listen, if Sovereignty goes forward again and runs faster than the 2 negative, then okay, I'm all in on the British Classic. Save your money.
You can make an argument that Sovereignty's 104 buyer and he ran a 2 negative. He wasn't all out. In the final 60 to 100 yards, he was under wraps. He coasted for a while.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've told this to people before, okay? And I'm pretty sure the horse was Sightseek. But I watched a race with Bobby Frankel when a filly named Sightseek won at Saratoga under wraps with Jerry Bailey, easy as pie, 100 and something buyer, ears straight up twitching, wrapped up, going past the wire. And Bobby Frankel cursed. And I'm like, what are you cursing at? He goes, I don't want her to win like this. I want her to win the race at Keeneland next month. I'm like, so what? She won so easy. He goes, no, she didn't. I said, but she was under wraps. He goes, doesn't matter. Look at the time. She ran 7 furlongs in like 120 and something. He goes, what do you think? She could have ran it in 119 or 118? No horse can run that fast. She ran as fast as she possibly can. It looks like they're going easy because the jock eases up, but she's already all in, running as fast as she can. The race still takes out of her the same thing it would take out of her whether she was whipping and driving or running like this. If a horse runs that fast, they pay the price next time out. And sure enough, sightseeing
something special
in that next race. And let me tell you, from the day he told me that, I bet against so many horses that won looking like they were easy under wraps next time out that I could be driving a Rolls Royce if I saved all that money.
Think about how good journalism is and how effortlessly Alvarado got Sovereignty to go right by him, not once, but twice.
But once again, what John's been saying, I think he wants a target, like he says. I think if he's another horse comes up, sneaks up on him, he reacts too late.
That could be a very valid point John made, and you're reinforcing. I get you. We got to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Sierra Leone is very. If we jump into the Breeders' Cup, John, is Sierra Leone confirmed for the Pennsylvania Derby?
No, for the Jockeys Club.
Sierra Leone can't run in the Pennsylvania Derby. He's 4.
Oh, that's right. The Jockey Club Gold Cup. That's what I meant. If Sierra Leone performs in
coming back for the Derby next year.
No, I didn't mean to. I meant the Jockey Club. If he performs in the Jockey Club Gold Cup as well as he did in his last race, and mind you, by the way, I know he beat Fierceness, but look no further than last year's Travers to see what Fierceness did to Sierra Leone. Let's not forget that. And for Peter Allen.
Yes, Thomas. He is. He's supposed to go.
I meant the Jockey Club. That's what I meant.
Hey, John.
For that reason, I'm against him.
I'm against him. John, my question was going to be.
Oh, you remembered it. Okay.
Sovereignty. Let's put him up against Justify and American Pharaoh. Where would you classify Sovereignty versus those two?
Well, you're not going to like my answer because I ain't got.
I'm an open book. I have no opinion.
I got one for you.
I don't believe that it's possible with any degree of intelligence to compare horses from different eras and different years. If you can't put them in a gate together, I don't think you could ever know. And I had this conversation with Mike Smith, who's ridden for many, many years and many, many great horses. And we had, the conversation started where, people ask him all the time, well, who's the best you ever rode? What about this one? What about that? He's got personal favorites, but he can't tell you if you put Holy Bull in the gate against Justify, who's going to win. Nobody can. All right. It's a guess. It's a silly guess. There's no science to it.
I want to give you two cents on
that. It's like saying, would Muhammad Ali beat Mike Tyson? Who the frig knows? Unless you put him in the ring, you don't know. Different areas, different things. You can't compare. You can compare horses now. I can compare Sovereignty to journalism, to strategic focus, to magnitude, to horses running today, to Baeza, to the older horses. I can't compare them to 3-year-olds from years ago. Now, at the end of the day, you can compare their resumes, but that doesn't tell you who would beat who.
But in the Raw, since Ed C. said, when he asked you about American Pharaoh and Justify compared to Sovereignty, here's my answer. American Pharaoh was a physical beast, a specimen who ran with conviction and just dominated horses in the 3-year-old division. Justify was a little different. A nice horse, but no doubt in my blood and bones, he was aided by the slop in the Derby and aided tremendously by the slop in the Preakness. If it wasn't a foggy, crappy, pissing on day at the Preakness, I don't even know if Justify still wins. So it's like, to me, nice horse, but American Pharaoh's much closer of the total package that Sovereignty is. That's my point on it.
And Gio, just for you to, Justify's got a very soft spot in my heart because he's the only undefeated Triple Crown winner ever, because all the other Triple Crown winners have lost a race. And regardless of whether or not his career was cut short and they put him to stud, what have you, he also was the only one that did it not racing at 2. So, I mean, I could argue that Justify is in the conversation with Bid, with Secretariat, with Man of War, with whoever you want to put out there.
I do the eye test. Look, he's a nice horse. Not racing as a juvenile is a good point. He was lightly raced. He broke the Apollo curse. But when you're thinking about what you see with your eyes, the body of work over the racetrack, what American Pharaoh did, not only as a juvenile, but as a 3-year-old, and he went on and on. I saw him live at the Haskell.
He lost to Keen Ice, man.
I understand that.
Who did he beat?
Keen Ice.
But he came back and won the Breeders' Cup Classic as a
Keen
3-year-old.
Ice.
All right,
Who
so,
did he beat in the Classic?
I got dogs. I got dogs in the other room that could outrun.
yeah. So
Let's
that's
see
what I
him
want to
try.
say. I mean, I'm going to weigh in on mine here. If you point a gun at my head of those 3 horses that Eddie put up, I say Justify wins every time.
Wow.
Thank you, Charles.
I mean,
John.
that's how I see it.
John,
I do
Ed,
too.
or anybody, your trained eyes, you don't feel Justified was the beneficiary of the track condition in both the Derby and the Preakness? And the Preakness, he didn't beat anybody. And that was one of the worst weather conditions. The horse that got the lead was going to win the Preakness, especially at the fractions it was at.
Well, Mark, I will tell you something about that. That is a little known fact about American Pharaoh in the Kentucky Derby. American Pharaoh won the Arkansas Derby so easy that he only had to run about 1/8 of a mile. He galloped and then just ran an eighth of a mile. So he never got the fitness benefit of winning the Arkansas Derby like a lot of horses would. Believe me, this is the truth. And he was actually a little short for the Kentucky Derby and won anyway. And that's probably why Victor had to ride him so hard from that outside post. I think he drew way outside, but he was a little bit short. So that's probably why.
And by the way, this is good conversation to have different opinions of the greatest racehorse ever. To me, as an older horse, is Cigar.
I can't argue with that.
What Cigar did, what Cigar did at the age of 4 and 5, I believe it was 95 and 96, was just, what did he win? 16 consecutive Grade 1 races? He was just off the charts ridiculous. So there's many different arguments you could make. But from a 3-year-old, Sovereignty, if he takes care of business here and the Breeders' Cup Classic, he's going to be mentioned in the category as one of the greatest of all time.
If he wins the Travers?
If he wins Travers and beats all the horses in the Classic.
Right, yeah, he's got to beat all the horses to get into that,
correct.
that conversation.
Which American Pharaoh did. Do we have any other questions? Can I make my quick story fun point?
Oh, it was a great mile around the turf, man. Shug, Claiborne Farm, absolutely. Seattle Slew was the first undefeated Triple Crown winner, yes, but he lost afterwards. Yeah, he went to California. Billy Turner didn't want to go, and they fired him. Even though J.O. Tobin beat him. But here's another interesting thing that kind of ties into what you're saying. Jean Cuguet rode Seattle Slew. He also rode another horse named Hoist the Flag. And if John Cuguet was on this show and you asked him who was better, Seattle Slew or Hoist the Flag, you know what he would tell you? Hoist the Flag.
Hoist the Flag.
What do I think about Bonds?
Spectacular bid.
Bonds is a monster. Listen, Bob's live all weekend. All Baffert's horses at Saratoga are live as shit, man.
They are all live, in my opinion, too. And like I said, I love Hope Road in that 11. But I think all of his horses are live. That's a true statement. I really believe that.
All right, well, listen, we're never going to get out of here if we don't let Gio tell his stories.
Yeah, and trust me, you see this old man now?
Let me get comfortable. Go ahead, Gio.
Yeah,
I'm going to be turning 63 years old in January. But before I was this guy, way back when I was 18 years old, probably 17 going on 18, I won my first $1,000 bet. It wasn't with a lot of money. it was a $20 win bet on Temperance Hill in the Belmont Stakes, who came splashing home. Wait, one thing. It's Travers related. Because when Temperance Hill ran into Travers, I told everybody and their sister's cousin that the Belmont was not a fluke. And that was my first winning Travers, a teenager. I barely shaved yet. I didn't have the guns. But I won my first Travers with Temperance Hill. I had to mention that.
I was there.
Oh, you were there for that day?
Absolutely. Eddie Maple, Temperance Hill.
Eddie Maple. How about the way he splashed home in the Belmont Stakes? Lovely thing, right?
I made a lot of money in the Travers with Eddie Maple when he won and beat Pleasant Colony on Willow Hour. Jimmy Picou, Marcia Scott.
I remember that. John Campos, Pleasant Colony. Remember Pleasant Colony? He won the Preakness and the Derby, right?
Walter, you got an invitation. You're welcome to come on anytime with us.
Hey, John, aside from, let's put Ruffian all ones on the side. Spectacular Bid. Best racehorse you've ever seen?
Didn't beat nobody in the Woodward.
Great horse, Ed. I started to talk about him.
Can you argue with that? He beat nobody in the Woodward.
I can't argue with that. Of course he didn't.
Oh, you got it. Nobody else got it. Nobody else got it, Eddie.
I know. They
was
don't
a
realize
that
he ran by himself. Nobody gets that.
I got a comment texted in from Nick down off exit 5 on the Jersey Turnpike. He says, "Tell John that hat is fucking terrible."
Oh, thank you.
There it is.
That's nice. Well, I like it, so now I'm going to wear it every week. I'm bringing it to the Breeders' Cup. Definitely.
Hey, Gio, I got one of my hats for you, man. When I see you, I'll give you a notebook picks hat.
Well,
that'll sport me
I
well.
don't even have a notebook picks hat.
Well, because you'd never wear it. Number one.
I'm a man of many hats. I have hats that I use to clean my kitchen.
You're right.
I got hats to peel garlic with. I got hats to do everything with. I got hats for gourmands. I got everything. I got tons of hats in my closet.
I think Big Game Jim has a notebook picks hat. I think. I'm not sure.
I don't have a notebooks pick hat.
Well, you'll get one.
Well, neither do I, Eddie.
Well, Charles, I gotta get an elder version of it, so I'll make sure I get you one.
Yeah.
You got it. But to answer that question, Spectacular Bid, I saw a lot of great horses back then. And Spectacular Bid was certainly one of them. I never saw a horse get in more trouble than him and win as that race in Florida. It was either the Florida Derby or the Flamingo, one or the other.
It was a Flamingo.
Right. I mean, I never seen a horse get in that much trouble and win, but Spectacular Bid was very good. Definitely one of the really, really good ones.
How come none of you is added to my cigar thought? Let me just put something in perspective about Cigar. He begins his career on the turf. And by the way, the most amazing thing is he was sterile. They could never stud him, so you never had horses that came out of Cigar. But what he did during a 2-year span, I don't think it's ever been matched in the history of thoroughbred racing. People need to appreciate Cigar more. Thoughts on it from the guys?
The next hat giveaway. Are you talking about those $3,000 diamond hats? Well, Nick from Jersey doesn't get one. That's for sure. That's for sure. But Harry Hampton, if you message me, I will send you one. How's that? You got it. Harry Hampton gets a hat. And I know there's one or two other people out there that I said I would send a hat to, and I get messed up and didn't send it. So if you're one of those people, message me and I'll get them to you. I got about 4 or 5 of them in the closet. We're going to order new ones, but we got one. Harry gets a hat. Harry gets a hat, not a notebook picks hat. A nice diamond past the wire hat. They cost $3,000 each. So,
and there may be some people out there that may want one of my serious focus to the finish hats. I got those in production.
Gio,
I don't see no comments coming up asking for them.
Charles, it sounds like you and I got to come up with our own hats.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'll get mine.
Big Ray's Jim shouldn't even wear a hat. Big Ray's Jim has one of the most beautiful heads of hair. If I had that hair that he has, which I had when I was like 18, I would love it. So, Jim, that's what you should do, Big Ray's Jim. Show the hair off.
Need a haircut.
Maybe Jim should do a visor.
Right here.
Yeah, visor.
I rock the visor. I like the visor.
Do the visor.
Gio, just so you know, the reason of your, in my opinion, of what you say about Cigar is that many people think Holy Bull was a better horse, and Holy Bull broke down. John, was it the Florida Derby or was it the Don Handicap? Maybe the Don.
The Don. When Holy Bull broke down, that's when Cigar started his.
That's when he started. And Holy Bull was a better horse.
But Ed C, I hear you, and it's sad what happened to Holy Bull, but the body of work at the conclusion of the show, just look up his career.
Oh, you can't dispute it. You can't dispute it. No, phenomenal.
If he wins, will he make my wall? Yeah, there's a good chance. And my wall goes all around. It's only what you can see behind, but there's everything. They're all around the whole room. Forget it.
Is Barbaro on your wall?
What?
Is Barbaro on your wall?
Oh, yeah. Huge Barbaro. Huge Barbaro on the turf, winning at Calder, the 2006
Tropical Park Derby.
Yeah, by himself. Huge, big thing.
January 1st.
Yep. Yeah, he made the wall, Barbaro. How do I message you, John? Right on. I think just go to the website and passthewire.com and it'll say send a message and it'll get to me. And if you can't on the next show, just I don't want to just broadcast my email because I get so many emails I can't get to them all. So do it through the website. If I don't get it, leave a comment on this show. Say, hey John, I tried to get a message through, but it'll come through the website and I'll get it. I'll tell the girls to be on the lookout for it, and we'll get it. So don't worry, we're gonna get you a hat. Old school. Old school is the only school.
And you got to wear your hat with pride. So if you got a Pass the Wire hat, wear it with pride. Wear it like your heart on your sleeve. And all hats are defining. Like this Duke, you see it often because
my hat got insulted.
What's that?
My hat got insulted by Nick from New Jersey at exit 5.
Yeah, they shouldn't have dissed your hat. You're creative with your hats, John. They shouldn't have dissed it. I hear that.
Nick's going to be sleeping with one eye open tonight, I'm sure.
Breeders' Cup seminar, 2 months away. Yeah, well, yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe. We'll get to that. But I guess that's a wrap. I think we covered everything we wanted to cover. I am taking one of my famous shots against a heavy favorite where if I'm right, I'm going to get paid. If I'm wrong, I'm going to live to fight another day. I see some vulnerability in the big, heavy 1-9 favorite. Just how I approach things. And I won't be surprised if I get my ass kicked, but I will not be even a little surprised if I nail him. I go in thinking I'm going to win. If I don't think that, I don't bet. So I'm betting on Saturday. I'm singling, strategic focus in the pick 5 or the pick 6, whatever it is, and probably making a nice win bet on him as well. probably not an exacta. Probably just win in a pick 5 or maybe the pick 6. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that will be my play for the Travers. And I'm a big boy. I've lost these bets before, and I've won them before. I remember in the Alabama when I bet it's in the air to upset the Vonadale. Every Philly Triple Crown winner. People told me I was nuts. Okay, I cashed. Cigar was a monster, man. No doubt about it. Sunday Silence and Phrase. I don't have Phrase. I do have Sunday Silence. All right. That's a wrap. Anybody got any last thoughts they want to add?
No, for me, it's basically.
So you got to have something to close.
Yeah, last thought. I talk often about focus. When you got a big day like Travers Day, and there's a lineup of some really intriguing Grade 1 races, keep your focus. Don't get distracted. Obviously, you got to bet races in advance if you're going forward, but take a look at the horse over the track and make a decisive decision and avoid distractions. Because one thing I've learned over many, many years, when I'm distracted, I make an ill-advised window decision. When I'm not and locked in, I have a propensity to score.
Okay.
Yep. And then for me, if anybody's got any questions for me, I'm going to have my show out probably tomorrow night, my pick 5, and shoot me an email at charles@passthewire. And like I said on all my shows, we are starting a racing and pinhook syndication. So if you got any questions about that, shoot me an email for that. Until then, go out there and get that money.
That's Gus, the wild doggo, telling me, let's go, Dad. I want to go outside. Again, all the
really great getting together with these astute, handsome fellas. It's a beautiful thing. We should do this now and then. Thank you, Tom, for putting this together.
The 30-second Travers show went for an hour and 11 minutes.
I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all the supporters and everybody with notebook picks. It wouldn't be without the help of Jonathan Stetton that we've done well. So
I ain't making none of the picks. That's all you, man.
Yeah, well, you keep saying you created a monster, so I'm trying to be nice to you.
Oh no, I keep saying I created 2 monsters. 1, 2. Eddie C and Gio Big Gun.
All I know.
2.
If anybody out there in the audience wants
my gun isn't that small.
Oh. Always listen to somebody that's passionate about what they do. All right? Keep that in mind. We know stories unturned.
I could say the same thing differently. Never listen to somebody that couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat.
Well,
the last thing I'll say is Torpedo Anna is not the same horse she was last year. Bettors beware. Tread very lightly. I think she goes down on Saturday. Leslie's Rose.
Hate it, but love it and agree.
I agree that she's not as good as she was last year. And I'll tell you something else that's not a popular opinion. I think she was a little overrated last year. She was the benefit of, that Travers took a lot out of her, and she was the benefit of soft, cushy trips.
Agreed.
I'm intrigued with one other guy from Bob's Barn, and he's getting loaded. I think Barnes, I haven't completed my full handicap on the race, but I think Barnes could be sitting on something special. It's not
zero shot
yet.
Zero chance.
It out there. Huh?
Zero chance.
All right. Well, I haven't concluded it yet.
Hey, did you save us any?
Hey, since you say zero chance to Barnes, I happen to think that Mulligan, who you endorsed before, Ed, I think he doesn't like to be passed by horses and stops running. That's why Bookham Dano beat him 3 straight times.
Well,
he has shown weakness in the trenches.
Bookham Dano's the horse for the course, the horse to beat, whatever you want to call him. I just think it's Mulligan's time.
I'm not on Bookham Dano. I can't stand Paco Lopez. I think he ran his best race in his last race.
Wow.
I'm short him.
There's a statement.
Bonds is dangerous as shit. And I'll tell you something else.
Thank you, John. I saw an ingredient with him, his recent training.
I'm going to tell you something else that's interesting about Bonds. Footnotes, these little things that most people don't know. Bonds, I believe, is the first horse that Jose Ortiz has ever ridden for Bob Baffert. Now,
compelling.
What does that mean?
That means that when he gets on that fucking horse, excuse my language, but it's our show, we're allowed to curse, but I am sorry for all the ladies. The men, you can handle it. When he gets on that horse, every ounce of his talent and psyche and sportsmanship and competitive fire is going to be, hey, I want to get a foot in this barn. I want to race for Bob, and I want to ride the hair off this horse like he ain't never been ridden before. And when Jose rides like that, he's as dangerous in the saddle as anybody I have ever seen.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't complete it yet, John, but I said to myself, in my gut, I feel he's sitting on a big one. And he's likely going to be my top, but I have to conclude the race to be decisive. But I'm glad you understand and you're sharing the same sentiments.
There it is. There's the statement of the day.
The deep dive is going to bring
Roshan. Wait a minute. Roshan, don't rain on my parade, okay, with technical things. We're like Indian Charlie over here. We never let the truth get in the way of a good story. I was wrong. Maybe he had one or two. Hasn't ridden many. What are you trying to say? He doesn't want to win? He's still, same thing applies. He hasn't ridden since that one. So, yeah. Roshan rained on my parade twice today. He's my friend. He's allowed to.
I'm glad Jim has brought the average age of this grouping down.
Hey, you sound like you're falling asleep. Is it past your bedtime?
It's definitely close to my bedtime. I want to crash. But, Gio's kept me entertained, so I love that.
All right, that's a good thing. Listen, we kept you awake, and, you didn't go full forge Joe Biden on us, but, you hung in there.
I have no
I think
idea.
We're going to end on that note there,
I have
John.
no idea where that came from.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I wonder how many people will actually click on the replay of this when it says the 30-second Travers show and they see an hour and 17 minutes and be like, next. Nobody's going to watch it. But that's okay. We didn't do it for them. We did it for you. So
they understand that this was a festive moment. You put 5 past the wire guys together in one room,
Right, I guess. All right. Well, always a pleasure, gentlemen. And we'll reconvene pretty soon.
All right. Go out there and get that money, guys.
Good.
All right. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now, guys. Go get them.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Here comes journalism, here comes sovereignty, and they square off, head into the final furlong. Sovereignty wins the Derby!
You're watching Past the Wire TV. Hit that like button and subscribe to Past the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.